Hey guys, I am so excited about how much I'm learning from you and how much you're learning from each other through these discussion questions. Keep up the good work, make sure you're answering long answers, and I want to let you know that I'm very excited to read your case studies. Let's go ahead and move into expectancy violations theory. The first thing that I want to do is make a confession. I am not a perfect communicator. I teach communication and I specialize in interpersonal communication and public speaking. But I'm still not a perfect public speaker, and I'm for sure not a perfect communicator. Ask my spouse, ask my husband. He would attest to the fact that I'm not a perfect communicator. As a professor of communication and as my student, you probably perceive me as someone who's an expert at communication. But simply stated, no one's an expert. And so by sharing this with you, that I'm not an expert at communication, that I'm not perfect and that I get it wrong sometimes, often actually, I might be violating your expectations of what I'm supposed to be as a professor of communication. Today we're talking about expectancy violations theory, EVT for short. And what the basis of this theory really is. It's about how we all have expectations and how, you know what, sometimes they're violated. The first thing that I'm going to talk about are the different kind of expectations that we might have. We might have an expectation about what an event is going to be like. Like, say, a concert. We might think that Taylor Swift is going to open for John Bon Jovi or something like that, and then that may or may not happen, and that's when we get into the violation. We also can have relational expectations. So you get into this new friendship or a new relationship with a spouse or someone who's potential spouse, like a boyfriend or girlfriend. You have expectations about how that relationship is going to develop. Those might have changed after learning relational dialectics and social penetration theory, but you still may have an expectation of some sort. Now, when that does not happen, that's considered a violation. You can also have an expectation of what a specific person is going to do. Say you see someone in the grocery store and you see them every time you go. This may be a certain cashier and you always go and sit with that cashier. You always go through their line and they always say the same things to you. You have an expectation that the next time you go in that they're going to say those same things again. Hey, how are you? How can I help you today? Did you find everything that you need? Those are typical things that we hear from Walmart employees especially. So now let's talk, now that we know what an expectation is, these ideas of preset things that are going to happen or preset behaviors that we think should happen. When those don't happen, that's considered a violation. So say you have this idea that you're going to go to La Terraza and order a specific dish. And when you get there, you find out that your specific dish, they don't have it that night. They're out of chicken or they're out of whatever specific thing they need to make your dish. And so you order something else and it's not what you wanted. Your expectations were violated. So then you have to make the decision. Do I feel violated first? And if you feel like yes, you were violated by them not having your chicken, then you have to decide whether or not you liked that violation. So did you like the meal that you got instead better than what you were wanting, or was it even just okay? Let's think about that outside of an event, outside of an expectation for a meal. Let's talk about it if you are expecting your husband to clean up as soon as he comes home, to do the dishes, and he doesn't. What do? He has officially violated your expectations. But what if he vacuumed instead? So did you like that he violated your expectations and instead of doing the dishes he vacuumed because he knows that you hate to vacuum? You have to decide whether or not you like that violation, and if you really hate doing vacuuming and instead prefer to do the dishes, then you would probably say that you do like that violation. But sometimes our expectations are violated and we don't like it. Say you expect someone to treat you very, very nicely and they don't. Now this may just be an off day for them, or this may be something consistent. And so at some point, you have to not only decide whether or not you like that violation, but then you have to decide whether or not the reward for staying in this relationship outweighs the consequences of this relationship. So, are there consistent violations of your expectations that are negative, worth staying in the relationship or not? That's really, really simple. You just have to be reflective. You have to think back. Do I feel there are two main questions of expectancy violation theory. Do I feel violated, and do I like it? And then you finally ask your question, do I want to stay in this relationship? Do the rewards outweigh the costs? And this could be true of going to La Terraza, going to Walmart, going to that same cashier, or staying with your spouse. So it's very applicable to a variety of things that you may be going through. Like, you may be realizing that your professor is in pajamas, specifically a onesie, not footed, but it's still pretty cool, and it even has a hood. So you may be realizing that I'm not wearing professorly clothing, and so you have to think about, do I feel violated? I'm completely clothed, so I hope you don't feel too violated, but that your expectations were not that I'd be wearing these clothes. And do you like it? Are you comfortable with me wearing my pajamas to do a lecture? And then you have to decide, is cutting off our relationship as student and teacher better than staying in the relationship as student and teacher? And I would hope all of you would say that you'll forgive me this one time for being in my pajamas for the sake of this lecture, and that you'll continue being my wonderful students that you are. This is one of my favorite theories just because it's so applicable to how we process relationships and how we process human behavior and how people communicate with us. So I really think it's really important. This is actually my second favorite theory. My first favorite theory is coming later in the semester. It's called Communication Excellence Theory. And I hope that you're really excited about it because we're going to learn how to communicate better with others. So it's my favorite. Anyways, I look forward to talking about the next theory next week, and I will see you then. Have a great day.